Winter's Bone follows the story of Ree Dolly, portrayed by one of this year's Best Actress nominees, Jennifer Lawrence. Ree is dealing with having to be a mother to her two younger siblings while having an ill mother and a missing father. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with actress Shelley Wagner, who portrays Sonia in the film.
My son-in-law was out here this afternoon. Everything all right? He's hunting for Dad.
Sonia is the neighbor and cousin of the lead character Ree. I asked her about hearing the news of the Oscar nominations.
I couldn't believe it. I almost fell out of the bed. I could not believe it.
Winter's Bone shows a side of the southwest Missouri area that many outside may not be aware of, the problem of meth.
You get the taste for it yet?
So how did the locals react?
The locals were one thing I was real concerned about, their reaction to the film. But most of them, you know, when they saw the film, they would say things like, "Oh, that could be my uncle." Or, "I think I know somebody like that." I mean, everybody could kind of relate to it.
This film displays a lot of realism into the life of locals in the area. One part being the hunting way of life, including cleaning of the animals you hunt.
I had experience with seeing it done, but I never, you know, and I told William White, who plays my husband in that scene, and I said, "I'm just going to hold the bag, and you just," and then later on I'm watching the movie and I'm all swinging that thing all over the place, and I don't even remember doing that, so I don't know what happened, but as long as I don't recall it, I think I'm good.
Now the real question, was it a real deer or a movie prop?
It was actually a goat.
So how did you get the role of Sonia?
And I originally went in to read for the part of Victoria, which was Teardrop's wife. But after the read, they liked it so much, they asked me if I wanted to play Sonia.
Winter's Bone is up against some heavy competition this year. What do you think your chances are?
Oscar likes underdogs.
True. They will
So, Hurt Locker last year, you know, so, and Catherine Bigelow is very, very big supporter of Winter's Bone, so hopefully, you know, we'll see.
And Mike joins me now at the desk with more. Shelley just seemed like a really nice woman.
Yeah, very down to earth, didn't have the celebrity attitude going at all, and she's in LA right now for not only the Oscars but the Spirit Awards, which are the day before the Oscars.
Very cool.
Spirit Awards are kind of like the Academy Awards for independent movies, and they are up for 6 awards in that.
Very cool. All right, Mike, let's talk about our Fox 24's best Oscar-nominated film of the last 24 years. You guys voted at home. It's time to reveal the results.
We got a lot of votes on them, so had a lot to pick from here, so
Yeah.
I think we got a good top 10 going.
We start with number 10, The Lord of the Rings trilogy. Of course, Fellowship of the Ring, released in 2001, directed by Peter Jackson. And Mike, Return of the King winning the Oscar for Best Picture in 2003.
Right. It just took one of the 3 movies and kind of flowed good as one story altogether, so that's why it made a great start for our top 10.
Number 9, Schindler's List, released in 1993, directed by Steven Spielberg. Schindler's List, Mike, won 7 Oscars.
Yeah, and his first Best Director Oscar, which I thought was long overdue. Personally, this was my number 1 on my top 10 list.
Yeah, number 8 tonight was higher up on my personal list, The Shawshank Redemption, released in 1994, directed by Frank Darabont, stars Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman. This film nominated for 7 Oscars.
And you can't beat a Stephen King story. I'm sorry. He's the best.
He's good at what he does, for sure. Number 7, American Beauty. This film released in 1999, directed by Sam Mendes, Kevin Spacey, Annette Bening, doing wonderful jobs in their roles. This film won 5 Oscars, including Best Picture.
Right, and nowhere near on my top 10 list. It's just a film I couldn't get into.
Really?
So,
I disagree. I loved that film. Number 6 tonight, A Few Good Men, released in 1992, directed by Rob Reiner, stars Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore. This film nominated for 4 Oscars, and quite the cast, too.
Yeah, You Can't Handle the Truth, one of the best repeated movie lines ever.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of repeated movie lines, number 5, Braveheart. A lot of people know some of the famous lines in this one, released in 1995. Mel Gibson, Mike, directed and starred in the movie, and this one won 5 Oscars.
Yes, and one of the last good movies he ever done.
Yeah. There you go. Straightforward with Mike tonight. Number 4 tonight, Pulp Fiction. This 1994 film directed by Quentin Tarantino. We had John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman. This actually won the Oscar for Best Screenplay that year.
Right, and classic Tarantino, and had a lot of fun trying to find a movie clip that we could actually air on the TV here tonight.
Yeah, they like to curse in that one.
Yes.
Number 3 tonight, Saving Private Ryan. This 1998 film, directed by Steven Spielberg, stars Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, won 5 Oscars, including Best Director.
And well-deserved. One of my favorites. It was my number 2 pick, actually, and my favorite scene of all, the one where they're coming up to notify the mom. No dialogue in it at all, just it speaks for itself.
Yeah, the acting great in that one. Number 2, Slumdog Millionaire. Released in 2008, directed by Danny Boyle and Loveleen Tandon. This thing won 8 Oscars, including Best Picture.
Yeah, and it was good. I loved the music in it. Of course, it had a soft place in my heart for it, being I was on Millionaire myself.
Yeah.
So I was really adamant to go see this movie, and I enjoyed it.
I don't know. Number 2's pretty high, but our number 1 movie, Forrest Gump. Released in 1994, directed by Robert Zemeckis, stars Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Gary Sinise, won 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. This was my personal number 1. I think it's well-deserved.
Right, it was my number 3. It's an all-around feel-good movie, and it's going to be looked upon as an American classic for decades, if not longer.
You guys voted, and there's the trophy.
We got our own Oscar for it.
Yeah, so Tom Hanks, if you're watching, hey, come get your trophy, man.
Yes, but you have to come here and get it. We're not mailing to you.
Yeah, all right. Mike Emery, great job. Very fun. Thank you at home for voting. Let's go ahead and do our trivia question of the night.